We're starting today inside the county boardroom because earlier today the chair and the mayor of Portland held a joint news conference to unveil a new plan to combat homelessness in our area. They're hoping it makes a big difference and that it changes the way you think about it. It's taken nearly 8 years and $1 billion, but it does look like there's finally a unified plan to work on the homeless crisis in Multnomah County. The changes announced today all involve the Joint Office of Homeless Services, which is responsible for the most of the homeless response in our area. Over the last several years, the office has grown exponentially and, well, so have the problems. 2 separate audits last summer slammed the office for lacking clear strategy, vision, and measurable outcomes, and more. But now, Mayor Ted Wheeler and County Chair Jessica Vega Pederson say that's all going to change. And moving forward, the county and the city will work together to have a cohesive strategy.
And we know that this is what the community expects us to do. We're united in our determination to find compassionate as well as effective solutions to lift up the most vulnerable in our community. This marks the beginning of a new relationship, one that is reinvigorated, one that is collaborative, one that will improve these operational systems, build more options, and provide more services on site at shelters. Now let's not kid ourselves, none of this will be easy, but we are far more likely to succeed when we work together. This is what Portland needs, and it needs to be done with urgency.
More specifically, at the heart of these new agreements is the establishment of a homelessness response system that includes joint goal making, strategic formation, and oversight over the larger system of care. And there are 3 keys to effectively creating and implementing this response system. First, key performance metrics to assess the work of the Joint Office of Homeless Services. We have to be pointing in the same goals and outcomes and driving there with force and discipline. This includes identifying a baseline number of people experiencing unsheltered homelessness as of January 2024. It includes refining our data collection and data management systems to provide quarterly reports on our goals. And it includes making sure all of our providers are contributing data and information to our data system so that we can establish and maintain daily shelter availability.
So how about that? The 2 sides are going to join forces, try to knock down the silos that are keeping things separate, and then set key metrics that we and you can use to hold them all accountable. Now, I can hear some of you grumbling that it should have been that way from the beginning, which, yep, I agree, it's true. But this is the reality of what we have. Both sides, City Council and the County Commission, must still approve the plan. It'll keep the sides working together, though, and funding the Joint Office of Homeless Services for another 3 years if both sides do approve it. And since we feel no reservations about criticizing both sides when they do something that we think is dumb, I think we should also take a moment now to give them credit for getting to this new agreement and this plan. Well done. I hope that it works. Let's dig into the details and explain what's going to happen. Big picture, the agreement would bring together all the county and city departments, directors who work in behavioral health, housing, poverty, homelessness, and criminal justice. It also spells out specific metrics. They would identify a baseline number of people living on our streets this coming January. And then the goal is going to be to get at least 50% of those people into housing by the next 2 years, so by December 31st of 2025. Then to achieve a 15% increase in the number of people who leave shelter for housing by the end of 2025. Also to ensure that at least 75% of people who moved into permanent supportive housing keep that housing for at least 24 months after they get there. They would also issue quarterly reports on the goals and eventually move city-controlled homeless projects like the outdoor camps and the tiny villages. Those would move under the control of the joint office. So there are some specific metrics that we can hold them accountable to, and we do plan to. And yes, I did notice that they gave themselves 2 years to hit some of those goals. But again, at least right now, it feels like a little bit of progress. The county chair said it's a move away from the bad old days of fighting with the city.
Today, we are taking a huge step to correcting that. The proposal we're sharing with our commissioners turns the page on a relationship that has been fraught with misunderstanding and mistrust, and worst of all, a system that is not as effective as it should be. And it moves us towards a genuine partnership rooted in collaboration and cooperation.
In case you didn't know, it's an open secret that city leaders and past county leaders did not play well together and had several disagreements over homeless issues. Today, Mayor Ted Wheeler said things are much better. For example, the county has kicked in $20 million for the mayor's large outdoor camping sites.
But the chair and I, we don't want to just create shelter anymore. Shelter alone won't work with a chronically sick population. It has to be combined with case management and services and navigation. And so the homeless services structure that we're talking about today and jointly funding, probably with the county putting a lot more in just because they have the SHS dollars and we don't, is a truly unified structure that makes sense for the kinds of problems that chronically homeless people are currently experiencing on the street. These are not folks who are exclusively people who have lost jobs or lost housing due to rent increases, although there are plenty of people like that. We are dealing with a much more chronically sick population that needs intensive services and case management. And for once, we're going to be sitting at the table at the same time, hearing the same information, looking at the same data, and brainstorming on where do we want to prioritize our budget, what services do we want to prioritize, who does what when, and how is it all funded.
All right, time for you to let us know what you think about all this. I'm hopeful that it works. What about you? Send us an email, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a message. The number's 503-226-5090. I look forward to hearing from you.